No, it has been brought up by voters, and Ted decided that he didn't want to put it into his speech because then that turns into a big issue, and he just wanted to make sure that people knew the truth, and so he tried to take questions from people in seed corn caps, and most of the time for the first couple of days they got those questions, and then they've died down to where we get an ethanol question maybe every third stop or so. But this question they got tonight was legitimate. I'm glad that it was asked because it clarified a lot of things for a lot of people, and as I thought his answer drilled it very well. There's not much time to deliver that answer, so there's a couple things that I would have liked to have added to it. For example, Ted Cruz will use the Justice Department to enforce antitrust laws to ensure market access for ethanol. And so the short way to analyze this is, he says, phase down the RFS over 5 years. Well, the RFS expires in 5 years anyway, and so that's the trade-off. But immediately he would open up the blend wall, eliminate the 10% blend wall. We'd have a chance to market to E25 or 30, as he said. And while that's going on, there would also be a directive that the tests in the lab would be legitimate, that would allow ethanol to actually show what it can do out on the road, and then make sure that the market access is there. So I think in the long term, it's a plus. I don't have any doubt that Cruz's ethanol plan over a period of a decade is a plus for our producers. In the short term, it's a question whether it's a break even, whether it's a little bit up or a little bit down in the short term.
Okay, yeah, because Eric Branstad has obviously been pushing that this will totally destroy Iowa's agricultural economy. You disagree?
You know that what I've said about this, that Eric Branstad, I think somebody should ask him how much money he's been paid to say the things he's been saying. But I can tell you what came out on the first day when they rolled out that press conference. They said Ted Cruz is a liar, he's a hypocrite, he wants to hurt Iowa farmers, and he wants to line his own pockets, and he's heavily influenced by big oil. Well, okay, there's 5 things there that aren't true. First of all, Marilyn and I raised 3 sons in a high-profile political environment. Not one of them would think to accuse a seated United States Senator of such a thing. And if they thought of it, they surely wouldn't act on it. And they would come to me and say, hey, I've got this idea. I can make a lot of money saying these things. What do you think, Dad? Back to the woodshed, son. That's what I would say to them, but they would never ask me because they'd know that. And so each one of these things, the allegations, Ted Cruz has been exactly clear. He has not changed his position on the RFS. I wanted him to, but he has said, I've drafted legislation, authored legislation, that's my word. My signature's on it. I'm not going to compromise on giving my word. But let's build a policy that can help grow the industry and the free markets. That's what we did. We did it with the help of Dave Vandergrind, who is, I will say, the #1 expert on ethanol, at least that I know. And Ted Cruz has been sharp on top of that, and he's been pushing and working with this as it's developed. By the way, Heidi Cruz knows her ethanol too. I know that because she sat down and asked me to explain it to her, and she's pretty quick on the uptake.
Great.